All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here live in the Now studio, and today is actually World Read Aloud Day. And joining me this morning, it's the young winner of the Dragonzilla Short Story Writing Challenge. His name is Josh Hansraj. Joining me as well is Danielle Delon, who is the director of the NGC Children's Bocas Lit Fest. And I'm very excited to speak about this topic this morning because it highlights the importance of reading aloud and even more so reading aloud to children. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. So before we go into anything, Josh, I know you have an excerpt that you have prepared to read for us. So I would like Josh to read your excerpt first for today's Read Aloud Day.
The Great Depression. This story takes place in a decade when a new king was born. His name was Corona. King Corona ruled the earth. He was an evil king. The most powerful leaders all over the world had to serve him. Many tried to defeat him, but to this day, none has been successful. It was a Tuesday morning when the announcement of King Corona's reign came on national television. King Corona stepped foot into Trinidad. Within a few days, he locked down my entire country. I expected this to happen, but I didn't expect my life to change the way it has. Home, home, home. I'm sick of home. No play, no fun, and no friends. The worst was no Syria, my greatest cousin ever. This made me furious. I knew that I had to get rid of King Corona. It was time for me to make my own vaccine. I heard it was the only way to stop the king from his evil ways. Some people laughed at me when they heard my plan. I was sad, but I couldn't give up. What upset me the most was the news. Everyone kept talking about King Corona. They also called him COVID-19. I was so upset. News conferences disrupted my relaxation and watching my favorite shows. I realize now that this king had control over everything. He controlled the minds of governments all over the world. He was too popular. This was very depressing. Then, in the middle of trying to create my vaccine, dun dun dun, online school struck. No, my head is buried in a computer, learning things that don't always interest me. I'm only thinking of my vaccine and saving the world. I haven't been successful with the vaccine yet, but I will keep trying. I realize now that it is the people who are making King Corona so powerful. They are being selfish by not wearing a mask and social distancing. I just have to do my best to follow the rules and keep my family and I safe. Thankfully, my parents bought me a pool. So between working on my vaccine and online school, I'm just going to dive in, relax, and wait until King Corona gets old and tired. Or until I get rid of him. The end. Thank you all for listening to my story.
That was so brilliant, Josh. I want to thank you so much for that. And I was completely captured by your story. And no wonder you're the winner of the Dragonzilla Short Story Writing Challenge. And I want to just say congratulations one more time, because I know we did speak before on it. But, today being World Read Aloud Day, it's really appropriate to have you here with us this morning. And I want to jump to my next guest, Danielle. I want to thank you for joining us again this morning. And let's speak about the importance of World Read Aloud Day and, what the NGC Bocas Lit Fest is doing for that.
Well, the thing about it is that World Read Aloud Day, of course, encourages children to enunciate and to speak, and which was precisely what we did, the NGC Children's Bocas Lit Fest did, with the short story writing challenge that Josh won in the 5 to 8. He's below 8, he's a
Right.
category. He's very young. And this is precisely why we began our storytelling caravan. So this, you see, Josh, is evidence of us taking a concept in which we physically went around Trinidad and Tobago and opening it up to children all over the island, because in our concept, we created actually a safe space for children to come together and express themselves. And now we opened it up and we encouraged children to write stories. Then we had a second section in which we asked them to video the stories in order to ensure that they really wrote the stories, understood them, and that they could read them, well.
And, for instance, Josh just did so very well, with so much expression and, the way in which he read it. It makes you want to hear more and all, So tell us about what you think about the importance of children reading aloud.
I think...
Well, oh, Josh, that was the Josh?
Actually, since yes, I will hear Josh.
I think it is important for children to read because reading is very important. It helps you develop your language.
That's a great reason, and I agree with you fully, Josh. And I want to ask you the same question, Danielle. What do you think is the importance of children reading aloud? Because I know for some children it's a little nerve-wracking, So what do you think about it?
I think that sounds, words, language, they develop early literacy skills. And the thing about it is that within the competition that we offered the public and children, we had one or two children who had challenges. There was a lovely little boy who wrote a brilliant story about a bat, and he had to have classes and lessons and speech therapy from the time he learned to speak. But he had the courage to come on our show. Although his parents cautioned him, he said, no, I'll do it. And he did come and he did read, and I adored him. And this is what we wanted to do. We opened it up, and we do understand and we know that the confidence that children develop in efficient and effective communication, if we open that door to them at a very early age, they're going to be able to develop into fluid speakers and easy communicators.
So
efficient
correct.
Communicators.
Yep, definitely. So right. And Josh, did you read aloud a lot before the Dragonzellas competition?
Yes, I did.
And
I read stories like comic books.
Right.
I read about cars, and I also read about technology.
And which one do you like the most? Josh?
I'm not hearing you very well.
Oh, I was just asking which one did you like the most?
I like reading about cars the most.
And before we go, Danielle, being that, physical activities are restricted right now, what does the NGC Bocas Children's Lit Fest intend to do this year?
Well, this is just the kickstart a huge online program, which is running in alignment with the brilliant, I must say, adult section of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest. We plan to offer our storytellers an opportunity, expanding on an exercise we did last year, which was Bocas story time, and we had storytellers reading stories from books, but now they are going to be actually filmed, fully costumed within sets and so on. They'll be telling their own stories, and they'll be interpreting a story from one of our books, such as this.
Right.
Also, we are doing animations. So we are going to release some animations, maybe one at Carnival, which we have already prepared. And certainly during the festival, we have animations. We also have the short story writing challenge coming on. We have things happening on the on book reading day and all the important storytelling day. But a big feature will also be our storytellers speaking and telling stories and showing movement and expressing themselves in their own words.
That's a lot to look forward to very soon. And with that, though, I want to say thank you very much for joining us this morning. Daniel Delon, Director of the NGC Children's Bocas Lit Fest. And I want to thank you so much as well, Josh, for reading with us this morning, reading for us this morning, rather. And Josh is the winner of the Dragonzilla Short Story Writing Challenge. All right?
Thank you.
And happy World Read Aloud Day. With that, we're going to take a short break and come back with much more. Stay with us.